Welcome to Startup Diaries, sponsored by Point-Click Technologies. This is a new series highlighting 10 Gambian founders and their startup stories.
It is possible. Is it challenging? Yes. Is the terrain really difficult? Yes. But that's what it is. It's entrepreneurship, it's business. It's not built for everyone, but at least give it a try.
Each episode has an in-depth interview with the founder, highlighting their ups and downs throughout their journey. Whether you're in the Gambia or somewhere out there in the diaspora, this show is for you.
Typically, marketing would have been very expensive, but a startup, one feature of a startup is you don't have a lot of money. So you have to be very creative.
The relationships you build, both personal as well as professional. And I think that was a real challenge, is just breaking that barrier of really getting people to understand that the hub is not just a space where you can come and plug in your laptop.
Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out.
Every single challenge that we have experienced has an opportunity. It's either a learning opportunity or a business opportunity.
Welcome back. Yeah, and someone decided to hit on me so hard this morning, but that's fine.
You've
anyway.
missed breakfast, you've missed breakfast. Let's get to it.
She's trying to pay back, but anyways.
There is no way you can bring back breakfast. It's gone.
Okay, now moving on to a new platform dubbed Startup Diaries, where the brains behind innovative entrepreneurs in the Gambia are featured to inform and inspire others. Dr. Ismail Badjie, who is the founder and CEO of InnovaRX Global Health, is here with us in the studio to tell us more about this new development. Good morning to you, Dr. Badjie.
Good morning, guys.
Good to have you in our studios.
Always good to see you guys.
Yes. We just watched a trailer introducing many Gambian entrepreneurs in the country. Some we even had in our previous editions here. Tell us, why Startup Diaries?
Yeah, so I think Startup Diaries, Disruptive TV is a platform that was created for innovators and disruptors in the country. Obviously backed by the Disruptive Labs in the Gambia, which is connected to Point-Click Technologies. So the CEO, Malik Khan, I think it's a manifestation of a vision that he had to put the stories of entrepreneurs out, not only for Gambians in the country, but also Gambians abroad, or even non-Gambians who are now paying attention to also the magic, I think, that's happening in the ecosystem. But also there's so many lessons about people's journey, because every entrepreneur has a different journey. Every company's genesis is different. So being able to have a platform that now gives Gambia the level of exposure is so powerful for people who are in the company, people who aspire to be entrepreneurs. And I think that's what Disrupt TV is. So it's a series that features 10 entrepreneurs that are running amazing companies in the Gambia, which we were lucky to be part of the project. And it's just been a great experience, I think, showcasing what is happening in the country right now.
Does this actually seems like business is not longer as usual? Maybe the need why people are now more engaged into, let me say, innovative entrepreneurship or any other?
No, I think innovation and entrepreneurship has always been here. I think the model has just shifted, because I think every family, you've had somebody who's been an entrepreneur. As long as you're able to create an idea that brings value to a community, inherently you're an entrepreneur. I think there's been a shift in terms of, the word is a little bit sexier now. I'm an entrepreneur. Like most companies go through evolutions where
Make it look attractive.
Yeah. Africa's bringing in billions of dollars in investments into companies, because also I think it's positive, because it's showing us that now us as Africans are able to create value that is homegrown and sustain our own economies.
Do you think that's an intentional effort by advanced countries who most times fund some of our projects in Africa to make us somehow look like we're becoming self-independent economically?
Yes and no. I say no because Africans, and when I say Africans, they're not Africans on the continent. I think black people around the world have always been capable of producing excellence.
Because maybe circumstances put us in that situation.
Exactly. And there's opportunities in Africa. Any ecosystem that people say there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of opportunities, business opportunities to solve people's problems. So now that these companies are being very creative and innovative and bringing in some of the ideas that may be deemed non-African onto the continent, there's value. So I think from an investor standpoint, wherever there's value, like people will invest money in.
Yeah. Okay.
So Senegal, for example, I use an example. Last year, they brought in $350 million in new investments for businesses. Africa had almost $4.9 billion of investment on the continent. I think what Disrupt TV does is, why didn't we hear Gambia get some of that investment?
You know, I like that kind of, you know, envy, you know what I mean? Like, you know, this, I said it to my friend the other time, you know, we have a lot of Gambians in other countries who are seeing all these development and innovations. When we sit and think about the opportunities that can be here in terms of investment, I think there's a lot, because when you look at what other countries are doing, we are not even close at a point. So why not look at some of those innovations, replicate, or just try to bring something of those nature in the country, especially for the fact that some of them are not even here
I think the ideas are there, you know, the motivation is there, but the issue is we don't have the platforms for young people to showcase that talent. That has been the major issue in Africa. It's not like people are not into this, or this has not been here for a while, but how do you establish this?
Or the conviction to want to try.
Absolutely. And I think for even us, people like Marlon Khan with the Disruptive Lab being an innovation hub is in fact visionary, because now young people who have ideas that need a little bit of cultivation are being able to put in an environment that teaches them about not only building businesses, but building companies that could be around for 30, 50 years, where now ideas that start in Gambia could germinate and be transported to other parts of the region, where Gambia becomes an anchor of excellence that could be exported. Because we export excellence, but it's just human capital. If you're talented, you leave Gambia and go. But I think there's been a focus in terms of now us looking back and knowing that we could create excellence here that serves a lot of people. And I think the series shows it across different sectors.
I mean, you're yourself an entrepreneur, and tell us, what motivated the coming of these series? Going forward, what could be like, you know, the long-term vision?
Keep telling our stories, because I feel like we're small as a nation, but we're mighty in terms of our mind. I think Gambia has never lacked mighty minds. So the series is designed where now, independent of what field you're in, there are entrepreneurs in the ecosystem who are solving very relevant problems. So it brings two different types of attention, well, actually three. One, investors, because every company needs attention and investment to grow the company. Right? If you're not visible, closed mouths don't get fed. So if we speak and share our stories of excellence, it brings a lot of confidence into the country. Even from a regulatory and a government standpoint, most ecosystems, the government is designed to promote entrepreneurship, to promote private sector growth. So series like Disrupt TV and the Startup Diaries, it exposes 10 companies who are doing amazing things. And also for young Gambians to know that now we're close enough where we don't have to read books about great entrepreneurs in other countries when we have some in our own country. So that could be through employment, apprenticeship, which is so important. So it just has a ripple effect in the ecosystem, which is beneficial.
Now, just talking about the 10 there, are you in any way intending to maybe feature some other entrepreneurs, or just the 10 that you piloted with?
Yeah, the beauty about a TV series, a production, is like, I'm sure the team will always be in searching for new entrepreneurs as well. So that's going to be continuous. But I think the initial 10 lays a foundation for people to understand the value of this type of storytelling. And then all the other entrepreneurs, people might discover entrepreneurs for the first time by watching Startup Diaries. So that's going to be the focus.
I like that. I mean, so who is part of the team? What does your team consist?
Well, Disrupt TV is a product that comes out of Disruptive Labs Gambia, which is the innovation hub connected to Point Click, which Malik Khan is the CEO of Point Click Technologies. They've done amazing things in this space. So that's their creative concept. But I think all of us as entrepreneurs now, we're getting to a point where we're speaking to each other. Our frustrations are the same. Our stories may be different but similar. But I think this Disrupt TV is a product of Disruptive Labs Gambia. And I think it's just an amazing thing to be coming from Gambia.
Dr. Badjie, this might be actually funny. I don't even know what I'm asking. But when we talk about entrepreneurship, I know it covers all sides of business. But now, talking about Startup Diaries here, what kind of businesses in particular are you looking at?
Well, I think there's not a particular type of business, because let's say InnovaRX Global Health was featured as a healthcare company. Outboost Media was featured, they're a media company. Asutech was featured, they're a tech company, right? So there's different types of businesses. I think if anything, it's a series that shows different aspects of creating a business, running a business, human resources that comes along with business. So it's almost like an educational course as well too, but there's no one type of, as long as you're a disruptor and you have an innovative idea, I think Startup Diaries is for you. So it's definitely democratic in terms of how entrepreneurs are being selected.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you have to say to the notion that startups have the potential to shape the economy, and just do you think they get the support that's needed in most cases?
Yeah, not only shape the economy, transform Gambia. I think all great nations are built in the private sector, right? So a startup, it's almost like you're sowing seeds that could create an ecosystem where now we solve our own problems, but also we create excellence. Because it's all value creation, right? What you guys do is creating value, right? So I think it has a potential to transform Gambia, provided the right ecosystem is in place, right? Because so the environment has to be conducive to make it easy for good ideas to come in Gambia, not for good individuals with ideas to leave Gambia.
Is it conducive enough?
It could always be better.
Yeah.
And I say that because Gambia, in 2016, a report came out saying Gambia was one of the worst places to do business. Right? Obviously, our political situation back then influenced people's confidence.
Okay.
Is it better today? Yes. Could it be better? Absolutely, because it goes back to most startups, companies need money to grow. If investors are not seeing Gambia as fertile grounds to invest money in, right, then it's either the government steps in and make it easier for companies to have access to capital by banks lowering their interest rates. So there's so many factors that go into, because it's like you're at a stage of infancy as a company. There's a lot of things that need to go right for you to flourish. So it could always be better. And I think these stories will help it. Because once again, if Africa could get $4.9 billion, we should have heard an Asutech. We should have heard an Outboost getting investment, because that's a sign that Gambia is now is a place that you could put money in and continue creating
But we didn't even get it.
No.
Unfortunately.
But hopefully...
It's a major challenge, it has been.
But the beauty is, you could see a company on Startup Diaries that next year could receive $300 million in funding. So I think there's hope. I think there's a renaissance that's happening in Gambia.
I mean, there is indeed hope. The last week when we had the conversation, I said it. I just like the way things are gaining shape. You know, it's like we've been sleeping for a very long time, and we're beginning to wake up. So it will take a gradual process, but eventually. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you, guys.